Yes, yes, there we go. There we go, guys. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of A Drink with Brink, where I talk with other indie creators about their books and about their lives and their campaigns. Because people often invite me to their shows and offer me time on their platforms, and I appreciate it, and I want to do something in return for this amazing community. Okay, guys, I had a stream Tuesday, yeah, with Piper, and I noticed my camera was pretty dark. It kind of sucked, you know. So I bought a front light today, so it's installed right now. I'm not sure if it makes a lot of difference. It's pretty bright to me. So let me know, guys. Let me know if it looks right. You know, if it looks right. So you can all see my handsome face, right? So yeah. Okay, guys, this is an extra episode. Usually the episode is every Sunday, but there are so many awesome creators with interesting books that I like to bring in as many people as possible, but I just can't. But it's my vacation, so now I have some time, right? So we had Piper, and this time we have another guest. And in the chat we have Pops Van Zandt. Welcome, Pops. Hello, hello. Welcome, sir. How are you doing? How are you doing, sir? Okay. Sometimes I try to start with a little update. I don't really have one because I have too many shows this week. I can't keep giving you guys updates. It's too much. It's too much, guys. So and Edith is here. Welcome, Edith. Nice. Okay, guys. Let's just bring on our guest of the hour, so we can have some fun and talk about his amazing project. So let's give him a warm welcome, Mr. Keith Gleason.
Hey, look at that reception. I loved it.
Yes, that's how we do it here. Everyone loves to see new guests. So yeah, welcome, Keith.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me, Dave. Thanks for reaching out. You know, like I'll always, like going on indie, like YouTube shows and meeting other indie creators. So this is definitely a treat, And I was happy you're able to do it on Friday, which is, usually unusual,
Yeah.
Yeah. So how's it going, man?
It's going well. It's rather strange that we never met before.
Yeah, and it's like every time I do a campaign, I end up meeting like a handful of people that I had never had any run-ins with before, which shockingly, like it's just shows you how big the community is, and that you
right.
just, eventually you run into everybody at some point.
Yes. Pop says, "Hey,
hey
Keith.
Hey, Pops. How's it going?" Good to see
And
you, man.
Dark Side is Comics is also here.
Hail. All right.
Welcome.
How you doing?
Welcome. Dark Side told me he is 4 subscribers away from 300 on
nice.
his channel, and he does daily comic book reviews. So
really? That's cool.
The guy is very active. So if you like comic books, subscribe to Dark Side. And I am 3 subscribers away from 350. So come on, guys,
Nice.
3 more.
I think I subscribed this week. I think
Ooh,
I'll have to double
excellent.
check. Give me a little boost, anyways.
Appreciate it, man.
I'll have to check out Dark Side as well.
Appreciate it. You have your own YouTube channel, right? You do a lot of.
I do, yeah. My channel's called Indie Comics Relay. Kind of do very similar to what you're doing here, where I interview creators. It's usually me and one of my friends who's also an indie creator, and we just talk to creators. And then I also do on the side, I do other small little videos. Sometimes I'll do reviews, but mostly like stuff to help out an indie creator, like stuff, how to set up a table at a convention, things like that.
Right. Yes.
So I have a bunch of playlists for that kind of thing. It's like trying to make it like an indie comics kind of hub, I guess, like where you can just go and get all kinds of info, to help you out.
Right. Pops also has his channel, almost 700 subscribers.
Nice. Awesome.
Nice.
That's great.
Well done, Pops. And we have Gregory.
Hail.
Hail, Gregory.
How's it going?
I'm not going to do it, Greg. I'm not going to do the long ass hail, but
have you done that before, Dave? Have you done the long ass hail?
No, I'm not giving him the satisfaction. Welcome, Gregory. Welcome, man. Okay, I almost forgot the question that I'm supposed to start every show with, because this is a drink with Brink. So, what are you drinking?
I didn't bring anything. I should have went when I was in backstage, but I didn't have anything with me. Let's just say I'm drinking a virtual, I don't know, soda or something. Virtual Coke.
Drink.
Yeah,
this is new.
Coke.
This is yeah, original.
How about you? What's your drink of choice tonight?
I'm always drinking the same thing.
Okay.
It's the logo also of my my show, just cola.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Okay, Keith. We like to talk a bit about you. We like to learn more about new creators, and to introduce you to my audience. So, can you tell us a little bit about your history with comics, for instance?
It goes way back. Like I knew very young that I wanted to, actually at the time wanted to be a cartoonist.
Oh wow.
Like a comic strip artist, like stuff you see in the newspapers, things like that. As I got older is when I found comics. I think probably about high school, like junior high, around there. I finally read my first comic, and then it was all over after that,
So what was it? What was your first comic?
So my lead into comics was like the movie and TV tie-in stuff. Like Marvel had put out a comic book furthering the adventures of Indiana Jones, and it was like 30 something issues, and that was my first book. I grabbed like some random issue of that, and then I think my second book was like the Transformers comic that Marvel was putting out. And then eventually I tried Spider-Man after that, and then that was it. That was like I was in, But yeah, it was back in that day. Stuff. What's that?
Back in that day, you could just grab some random comic. Usually you had one complete story, right?
Yeah, right.
Now it's more difficult.
Yeah, it's everything's compressed or decompressed in multiple storylines, and you know what I mean? Like it's actually, back in the old days, it was like the Stan Lee formula, where it was like he would I think he instilled it on a lot of writers, was like you would always write an issue thinking about that first time reader, and I think that's what hooked me, was that kind of stuff,
Right.
And I can't say enough for those tie-in stuff, those tie-in comics. That was kind of like a good gateway for me to get in,
Right. Yeah.
Especially if you're loving cartoons and things like that, so.
Mm-hmm. Gregory says, Gregory loved the Transformer comics.
Yeah, those are great. They were really good. And I remember when they crossed over with GI Joe, and that was like a huge deal in my life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Honestly, Greg, I mean, honestly, that is, I think, the right method. There's nothing wrong with writing multiple storylines or a big story arc, as long as you can kind of throw a sentence or two in and kind of give the reader a clue as to where you are in the story. I think that works.
Right, right. This is true. This is true. Don't keep it too mysterious for too long. Right?
Yeah, right. Or
Yeah.
or it's like you want to be welcoming because it could be a first time reader.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Greg has an ongoing story with each issue containing a resolution.
Oh, that's
That's
cool.
great.
Yeah, I love
That's
what I
great.
I also like when a good TV show does that. There's like stuff that like I don't know, like something like Josh Whedon would do. There was like, he always had the like with, let's say Buffy, for example, he had like the monster of the week, but they also in the background had this ongoing storyline.
Right. Yes.
That's
Yes.
kind
That's
of
a
like how I
subplot. Yeah. Right.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like the way they write like that, and I think that's a good way to do a comic too. Just it's welcoming to new readers, and you don't close the door to anyone. So
Exactly. Plus, you keep the readers because they want to know what's going on with the other storyline. Right.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like that soap opera elements that kept you going,
Yes.
coming back. So
So right now you are a comic book writer or artist. What is your
yeah,
job?
more on the writing side of things. I can draw, but I don't generally do a lot of my own books. Because I have a very cartoony style. Like,
Mm.
so when I do a superhero book, I kind of hire it out because I know someone else
Oh,
can do a better job at it than I can. So, but I stay involved in like the lettering side of things. So I letter most of my books, and then I also, you know, I'll do some thumbnails for the artist to, if they need it to kind of show them where I'm going with the story and things like that. So I guess I help out in that way. But I don't generally draw my own stuff.
all
So
right, all right. You just said something. You said that if you get hired to do a story,
okay.
you hire someone else. So
Yes.
so, uh, so people approach you to make superhero books, and then you bring other people in to do the artwork.
Yeah, yeah, like
Right.
well, I especially with Mighty Mascots, I found the artist actually on Facebook. I
Oh,
was on the hunt for an artist, and I put a post in a bunch of different groups and things like that, what I was paying, and or having people send me samples and things like that. So I was able to
right.
find an artist that way by going through a bunch of stuff. Um, yeah, no, it's worked out great. The art team's been with me since the first issue, so and they still want to be a part of it. So I'm like, all right, it's great. This is a perfect relationship. So
Yeah, yeah. Finding your art team. That's very important.
it's huge, right? Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So and art team that's reliable and also quick, and they just get it, so it's great. So
Right. But okay. So you loved comics when you were young.
yep.
What made you decide to actually make your own comic books?
Well, I knew, like when I was younger, I wanted to be a cartoonist, so I knew I wanted to be involved in like that at least.
Mm.
I think when I was hit high school, that's when I started thinking more about comic books because I was loving them more. And then I grew up in the era when Watchmen and Alan Moore's Swamp Thing was coming out, and Sandman and things like that. So I was like, I was kind of, and it's right when the birth of Image was too. So I was kind of right in the mix there when I feel like comics were at its coolest at that point. So I think that all of that combined kind of made me want to write my own comics and be a part of it. And I started doing, I started writing and drawing my own comics in high school. Like I had 20 issues of this comic called Leominster Guardians. It's like Leominster's the town I live in. And it was
All
just,
right.
just about me and my high school friends at the time
Yes.
as superheroes. And then we would just kind of fight crime and then pull 80s hijinks pranks on each other, and why we're fighting villains and things like that, so, and I would draw it, but I look back, I still have the copies somewhere here in the house. I look back at them, it's just horribly done. It was just, like there would be a panel and it would be one head, and then there's like 2 feet of space above the head, and just really
Yes.
badly compositions. But it's funny to look back at, and they're so un-PC too, which is like even worse.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah,
Perfect. We need that. We need more non-PC comics. Right.
yeah, definitely. I hate that. The censorship stuff. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, but you're your own publisher, so you can do whatever you want, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm with Alterna, but Alterna doesn't do. They don't really. They want you to, you deliver the product basically, and they're just kind of like the aggregate to getting it out to the public. So they don't really get involved editorially,
right.
Which is nice. So it's like I can put out what I want, and and that's it, So that's great. So I love that. But yeah,
I suppose Peter Samedi has some guidelines. Some restrictions, but
like I think Pete he'll sometimes say if something's not working, or if he doesn't like a name or something, like
oh really?
Yeah, where he'll like, you may want to workshop this again. It's that kind of suggestion.
All right.
It's more of a suggestion though. If I don't like what he's saying, I can I can kind of override it. But
yes.
like honestly, like his suggestions have been great. So the few things that he's given me over the years has been, great, and I've rolled with most of it, so so it's good to have somebody like that you can bounce ideas off of, or if they see something that's not working, they tell you, and it's more of like a loving thing, I guess, or more like to make your comic better,
Do you have a editor also?
My wife kind of is. I bounce a lot of stuff off of her,
yeah.
And I usually use her to, like once I finish the issue, lettering it, I'll print it out and I'll have her go through it, look for typos, better ways to say things.
Right.
And then she's an artist as well, so sometimes I have her go in and touch up some of the things on the artwork that's a little off. Like sometimes the artist, like I have a character called Boxer Bear, who's a bear that's a boxer, and he wears boxing gloves, and his claws stick out of the gloves.
Yeah.
And once in a while, the artist will forget to draw the claws, so my wife will go in and actually draw the claws in there.
Oh really? Yeah.
Stuff like that. So she's a good hidden weapon that I have for my
right.
book.
Right. It's probably digital also, right? With digital,
most
you can,
of it,
you can
yeah.
easily...
Like I think the artist starts off, traditional, and then he'll put it in like Photoshop and then do touch-ups there. So there is, he does lay out basic stuff in pen and paper, which is nice,
Right. So is making comics your main job or your side gig?
I'm working towards that. It's a side hustle right now. Mm-hmm. Although I have in the last 5 years been able to drop down to part-time at my main job because not only just because of the Mighty Mascots comic, but me and my wife run a small convention up here in Massachusetts too.
Oh, wow.
We're con promoters too, on top of being creators. So I get a little bit of funds from that, and then I get a little bit of funds from the comic, and I've been able to go part-time, which is nice, and live off, because you must know, Dave, like comics, they're either feast or famine as far as money goes. Like sometimes you get a lot of, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I'll take lettering jobs sometimes. So sometimes I'll get a big lettering job, and then there'll be nothing for months, so it's like that kind of situation.
Yeah. You should never get into comics for the money.
No, you should love it.
It's barely there. So
yes, exactly. You should love it, and then but you also got to put your time in. Like I've been doing this, since like 2005. So it's like, I'm finally at the point where I'm not losing money all that much at conventions anymore. Like I still do, but there was a
So
there
you
was a
almost
long
break
time. There
even
was
now.
like 10
Yeah.
years of just losing money at shows, constantly,
Yes.
But now it's like I'm starting to break even or make a little money at shows, which is nice.
But
But
but you
that's all
kept going,
because,
man.
yeah, but that's it. You the perseverance, you keep
Exactly.
going, and so that's so that's what I say to creators. Yeah, same thing you just said. You gotta love this industry inside and out, and everything else is it comes later. A little bit of money, a little bit of
It
fame, I guess.
Yeah, it can make you cry sometimes,
Oh
but
my
it's just
god,
it's just
dude.
the passion for it that keeps you going, man.
Oh,
Welcome to the
it's
show,
true.
Pale Rider. Pale Rider, welcome, sir.
What's
He
up, guys?
asked what we drank in, and I think it was a virtual soda.
Yes, I have. I forgot a drink, so I'm drinking
The virtual
virtually.
soda. And Greg says we're drinking the blood of children so that we can work in Hollywood. Oh,
Signing a pact with the devil.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
great.
yeah.
But yeah, no. Sometimes it feels like that, right? It's like the only way to get into comics or Hollywood is that, like selling your soul to the devil or something, But
Yeah.
it's like anything. You just got to put the time in, and you got to be willing to. There's so many people I see come and go, especially in the convention scene, that they make one book and they think like, "Where's my next Netflix deal?" And it's just
Oh
it
yes,
just doesn't
yes.
work that way.
No.
Like it's
Also, if you want to, if that's the goal that you want your own Netflix series, then you have no business in comic books.
right. Yeah, exactly. It's just doesn't. You gotta love the industry. You gotta love the medium. Like it's
Mhm.
just to me, it's like you gotta be like want to be a storyteller, basically.
Yes, yes.
And
Greg says, I think to make money at comics requires a multimedia approach in which you sell products of different entertainment industries, and they all bring eyes on your book. That's
yeah,
my
no, that
plan.
sounds like I mean, we got a couple irons. Like I said, I do comics, but I'll do lettering work for people, so I make a little money that way. I will
Right.
sometimes do sketches, and then also I run the convention, so I have like all these different, and then I go to a lot of conventions and set up, so I have a lot of different, profit streams coming in, but it's varying degrees. Some of it's like zero, and then some of it's like $100 or so, and it all
Yes.
adds up after a while, which is
Yes.
nice.
But do you have conventions all year through?
We have them generally up here in Massachusetts from like April to about early December, I think.
Mhm.
Because once the snow starts falling, it kind of makes it difficult to do a
Right. Yes.
show.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, if you threw a rock and drove, anywhere within a 300-mile radius, you literally could find something every weekend up here.
All right.
Between craft fairs and like art festivals and then conventions, you find something every
All right.
weekend.
So sometimes you have this stand between non-comic related
Yeah,
fairs.
yeah. Like I just did a show. I just did an art festival in the second biggest city up here in Massachusetts,
Right.
called Start on the Street, and it was basically this street festival. There was like 300 artists, all had tents and people walking around. It was free admission, and we did awesome at it. Like it was like just something, it wasn't a Comic-Con, and most of the artists there were like more fine artists, like traditional paintings and things like that, sculptors. And but we had comics, so we were kind of counterculture to all of that stuff, and we did great. So sometimes like finding those little shows that aren't essentially comic books sometimes work out really well.
Right. Right. Because you stand out. Yeah.
You stand out because you're different than everything else
Yes.
there, and you
Exactly.
have something that kids come running over and they're like, oh, comic books.
Yes.
So that's
So your audience is your target audience are kids.
I would say it's all ages. Like I with Mighty Mascots, I wanted to write a book that was, something I like, an homage to what I grew up with, like something like Spider-Man or Batman. When those books were really all ages, like back in the 80s and 70s where anybody could read them, but that they also had a little bite to them, more than a cartoon. Like they, like people could die in Spider-Man, like Gwen Stacy, or, you know what I mean? Or people could smoke, and it was still considered like all ages. So that's kind of like what I do with Mighty Mascots, is I kind of try to hit that style of writing where anybody can enjoy it,
Right. So
And,
it can sometimes get a little bit dark.
Yes, like like in the issue 7 that's on the campaign, there's someone murders a mascot, and it's like, so, and then I have one of the characters smoking in the issue, but when the artist drew the dead body, I said, no blood, put X's for eyes, I do that kind of thing where it's like kind of like a PG-13 approach to telling like a more adult story, I guess,
Right. Yes.
Kind of like when Wolverine would slash somebody back in the X-Men and there wouldn't be any blood. It would just be like, pieces of the shirt or something, that kind of thing. Like where it's like you could still have a story with a little bit of edge, but you don't have to show blood, and you don't have to, you know what I mean? No. But it's, because I hate saying all ages sometimes, because when you say that, sometimes people think of that crap that DC's putting out, that, like the I'm Not Starfire and all those YA, like, nonsense that they put out. I want people to know that this is like a true all ages comic right from the 80s, so.
Right.
So.
Greg says, my favorite comics in my childhood were the graphic novels adaptations of movies I liked.
Yeah.
Like Star Wars movies, Blade Runner, The Last Starfighter,
Greg,
etc.
Same here, man. That's how I got into comics, was that gateway,
Yes. They are linked. They are linked somehow.
They are. Although I think nowadays they don't put out as good of adaptions or continuations as they used to, They used to actually put some effort into it back in the day. It's not the same now.
Yes. Okay, so let's take a look at your campaign, sir.
Okay.
But first, we have to have a little commercial break. So here it is.
Ahoy, mateys! 'Tis I, Captain Horatio Honeyflakes, and I be here to tell you about me newest crowdfunding campaign. The adventures continue with me crew, the Mighty Mascots, in issues 7, 8, and 9. Just focus your looking glass on the amazing artwork of Ian Warianto and Anton Bondi. Me crew, the Mighty Mascots, are up against some scurvy scallywags, and we need ye help to defeat them. There be a bounty of exclusive treasure only available here, where X marks the spot. I spy a huge coffer of bonuses and stretch goals on the horizon. Then please consider pledging so we can continue these adventures with the weirdest crew I ever had the pleasure of sailing with. Mascots Unleashed!
I recognize the background.
Yes, very similar. That puppet was actually made by my wife. She's
oh, really?
She's a talented artist.
Wow.
She does sculptures. She does traditional art. She's amazing.
That's indeed. It looked great.
Thanks. Yeah, so there's the campaign for issue 7, 8, 9. So
7, 8, and 9. Look, man, any indie creator that can reach 9 issues of their series has my respect.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah,
it's so difficult to make even one comic,
Yeah, and I've made a bunch over the years. I've never gone this far with a series before.
Wow.
Until now, which is awesome, I love this property. And I could do I think I could do 100 issues easily of this storyline,
Oh, perfect.
It's awesome.
Perfect.
Phoning everything
well, maybe you will.
Yeah. Let's hope, that's the plan, to keep going. I'd like to do 3 a year if I could keep it up.
Right. So you did one campaign last year and one campaign the year before this.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And issue 7, 8, 9. You have 139 backers. 11 days left of your first 30 days or second.
This is the last 30 days. Yeah. So
Oh wow. Okay.
this is it. But we are going to go in demand. So I don't want to mislead people. Like when it
Right.
ends, it'll still be available. But we'd love to definitely get the bump. If we could get up to 7,000, which will unlock another stretch goal, which is nice, you know.
That would be nice. Goal. This is euros, right? Let me put it into. I always forget this, man. This is.
Oh, I didn't even
US
know you
dollar.
could do that on the bottom. That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, that's cool. I
Yep.
like that.
There we go. Oh, it's lower now. Sorry about that. What did I do? No.
Yeah. Put it back. Put it back. No, just kidding.
Okay, but you
but-
made your goal. So
Yes. Still, I'm happy about that. Like, if it doesn't go any further than this, I'll be satisfied. You know.
right.
But yeah, I'd love to get up to at least 10, and lock the $10,000 stretch goal, and then that'd be great. I think, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Exactly. Sean Davis. Sean Davis is
Hey.
here.
Hey,
Welcome, Sean.
Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon to you. Yeah. Okay. So you start off with extras.
Yeah, so we for the second 30 days we added a lunchbox tier as like a special special for the second 30 days, and then also my wife offered to make an actual puppet for somebody. So like we have one of those on the campaign.
Wow.
So if someone wants a Honey Flakes puppet, she'd make another one. So we'll see if somebody will take advantage of that or not.
Right.
But
Okay.
we already unlocked that, which is the collectible cereal box top cover. You get a cereal box top, basically. Remember
Cereal
back
box
in the day
top.
where you used to have to mail in cereal box tops to get a prize and stuff like that?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh.
so that's our first one. That was unlocked at I think it was unlocked at 100 backers or something like that.
Oh,
And then
wow.
so everybody gets that on the physical
Yes.
campaign.
100
Anyone that
backers.
gets something physical.
Oh, I see it now. Yes.
Yeah, see the box top? Yeah.
Okay,
So this
we-
is issue 7, and right there I have the dead duck on the cover there.
Okay. Before we talk about the perks and the goals and whatever, what is the actual story about?
Oh yeah. So Mighty Mascots is a story about a bunch of cereal mascots that were brought to life by a 3D printing accident, and they become a superhero team for justice, basically.
Right.
So it's like I always tell people the tone of the book is if you took a Saturday morning cartoon and then jammed it together with like a Justice League comic. That's what Mighty
Right.
Mascots is. It's a pure love of superhero comics, but with like an 80s storytelling kind of sensibility about it. So I often use the barometer of Batman animated series to describe the book. Like that's the tone I'm kind of trying to hit. Like I
Yes.
want to tell a good superhero story, but there's like funny elements in there, but it's serious. Like I take this absolutely absurd concept and treat it like it's a serious thing, So
Yeah. Fantastic.
So-
Yeah.
yeah, so it's a lot of fun. It really is. I love writing these characters. I think they're just like kind of a really weird superhero team, which I think
Yes.
that also helps,
So do they have like special abilities?
Yeah, yep.
So-
If you
so
go
here you
up
have
to,
characters,
so
right?
that's the whole team. It's kind of like a nod to the old Avengers roll call, except it's
Mm-hmm.
mascot bull call. And this is primarily the entire team here.
Right.
They're all like loosely based off of real cereal mascots, which
Okay. Yeah,
so
I don't think I recognize any in the Netherlands. Here we have different kind of brands, probably.
probably yeah. So you probably like the first one, like the pirates, kind of based off of Captain Crunch.
Oh, right. Get it right.
Boxer Bears, kind of like inspired by like Tony the Tiger, or Sugar Bear, something like that. Mondo Martian is sort of inspired by an old cereal called Quisp, which
Oh.
some people might not even have ever had or heard of. Brewster McPunch is based off of like Punchy or Kool-Aid Man. And then C-Rad is like Toucan Sam. And Whack, Smack, and Boom are kind of... They're not really like the Rice Krispie guys, but their names are inspired sort of by the Rice Krispie guys, you know?
Right.
And then Professor Manny Coleman, who is the human character, I wanted that character to be a former child star who had grown up to become a scientist. So he's based on like, you know, Emmanuel Lewis or, I'm blanking on his name, from Different Strokes. Oh, Gary Coleman.
Yes.
So yeah, I wanted the team to have kind of the dynamics of something weird like Doom Patrol or like
Right.
you know, something like that or like the Metal Men, you know, something like that where it was like a human kind of scientist character and then this team of like misfit kind of characters, you know. So but they kind of works,
Cool.
you know. And then the funny thing, the cool thing about the story is that the villains tend to be brand mascots as well, but more like twisted versions of them. Like they were kind of like created with like a alternate formula that kind of adds in like extra stuff to kind of make them a little more mean spirited and that kind of thing, a little more criminals and that kind of thing.
Yeah, man, you can do so much with this concept. It's
Right.
fantastic.
I love, and I'm building like, I call it the mascot verse because I'm building like a whole universe of characters here, you know? So,
Right. So do these titles? You made different titles, right? You made different series, different books.
before Mighty Mascots?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I've done
So
different comics.
are they somehow connected, or is it completely
No,
separate?
the artist for this is actually completely new. Just he hasn't done any of my other stuff.
Right.
So it was this one was somebody I found on Facebook. Him and the colorist kind of are a team, and they work together really well. I think they do great work together. So
Yeah.
and I love this cover. This is like an homage to that
the
famous
homage.
Steranko Hulk cover, where
Yes.
Hulk was holding up the logo of the Incredible Hulk. I had drawn it, you know, I had drawn a thumbnail of it different, but the artist was like, "Oh, I want to do an homage to that Hulk cover." I was like, "Yeah, perfect, go for it," you know. So
Sure.
yeah, I love it.
Greg likes the
Well, it
3D
makes it
printing,
happen.
excellent detail. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of adds like, you know, like another inspiration I would say for the book is like the old Eastman and Laird Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics, because
Right.
it's same kind of thing where it's like an absolutely absurd concept, but they treated it seriously, you know. And with them, they have, what is it, the mutagen, you know, like, you know, instead of the mutagen, I have 3D printing, you know, like, so
Yes.
it's kind of like that, you know. It's like really weird. And my biggest thing that I want people to take away is like, when you read the book, I want you to feel like you just sat down to watch a 6-hour block of cartoons with a big bowl of like Frosted Flakes or something like that.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
So that's what I want the feeling you to feel like as you're reading it, you know?
So how did you kind of self-taught, right? You didn't actually study to write. You just read a lot of comics.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I
Yeah.
actually studied more art than I did writing. Like
Right.
you know, I took a couple creative writing classes in college, but that's it, you know. Parody of internet guess. Yeah. Yeah, I wish it was. It didn't really start that way, but I like 3D printing because when I created this about 5 years ago, that was kind of like the hot thing, you know, and I was like, oh, I could use that as like a part of the origin, you know. So
Right. Yes.
the internet gas is pretty funny though.
The internet gas
Yeah.
itself is a parody, you know.
Right, yeah. So I studied more art than I did writing. With writing, I learned by, like you said, just reading a lot of comics, but then going back and like taking like an Alan Moore Swamp Thing and kind of deconstructing it, like looking how he did like a beginning, middle, and end of the story and how he got there from point A to point C, you know, and just trying to figure out how that all worked. And then like I always felt like the best part of my writing was dialogue. Like I could just write really good dialogue, but it was just I always felt like the stories weren't as good, but I'm working on it. I'm trying to become better, and you know,
Yeah,
I think it's working though. A lot of people really like this style. Like I can write cartoons, you know, like that's what this is. It's sort of like a cartoon put onto a comic book page, you know.
Right. Yeah, I by the way these covers are set up is very cool. You have here like the classic Marvel books, you know, with the heads
with the corner
floating
box.
heads.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love that.
And then here in this little box here, you made the date.
Oh yeah.
Very very well done, man. Those details are cool.
Yeah. I got to credit Pete for because usually when we I just turn in the artwork, and Pete kind of comes in,
right,
adds the logo, adds the corner boxes, adds all the words on the cover, kind of gives it that you know, that last finishing touch to make it absolutely perfect.
Does Pete read it and then he comes up with his tagline, or is this
I
something
think so,
you provide him?
Yeah. I think he goes through it, and then usually we just send in the files, and he goes through and reformats everything for his printer. And then he'll do the covers from scratch, you know.
Cool, man. Looks
really
great.
Good. Yeah, I think so too. I think it's some of the best covers of the series.
Yeah, Greg says if you want a master class on writing, read R.H. Salvadore, Weiss and Hickman and Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah, I love Hickman. I've met R.A. Salvatore. He actually came to my first convention up here in Massachusetts, which is crazy. Like, and I think it's because he's actually from this town that I live in, Leominster, and he's one famous person from my town that, you know, kind of made it and did something. But he came and just showed up randomly at my convention, and I was like, wow. You know, R.A. Salvatore's here. So that was kind of cool. I'm trying to get him to come back for another show, you know, to just sign and do some stuff. But we'll see. We'll see if we can make that happen.
Yes. Network, man.
Right? And I love Hickman. You mentioned Hickman. I think Hickman is one of the probably one of the best writers right now in comics. Like, or one of the ones I really like, you know. Like, I really... he's next level. His mind is just freaking out there. You ever read any of his stuff? Hickman, Jonathan Hickman? I think that's who he's talking about.
Yeah, probably. I can't really remember what he was on. So,
yeah, he is a comic I'm reading now from Image called East of West. I bought all 10 trade paperbacks. I'm about halfway through. It is awesome. It's like if you took a Western and mixed it with like sci-fi and history, and it's like, and it's, I mean, the way he has so many characters, and I admire that with a writer. Like if they can take like these multiple characters and then just kind of set them all up, and you know what I mean? It's just amazing what he's doing. His mind is just, you know, out there. Oh, Tracy Hickman. Okay. Not Jonathan Hickman. Okay. So Jonathan Hickman. I'm not familiar with Tracy Hickman. I'll have to look her up, but I like Jonathan Hickman a lot. Oh, Dragonlance.
Dragonlance.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
All right. Here we have some character designs and preview art.
Yes.
These designs you made or the artist?
Those are designs based off my description. Like I'll draw like a thumbnail for the artist saying what I'm kind of thinking. Right. And then Ian will come in and kind of do his own thing. So yeah, these are what he sent me for the character designs for these characters in these issues. The Colonel.
The Colonel. Fantastic.
It's like a sentient piece of corn, basically, as a military dictator. You know?
Is a colonel? Is it something? Does it mean something? Colonel?
Well, it's a play on the word colonel. You know, like it's because he's a kernel of corn, and he's also a colonel, like a military kind of thing.
Right, so, colonel. I wasn't familiar yet with that part of the English vocabulary, the colonel part.
Yeah,
so I learned something new today.
Spelled like it's normally spelled COLNEL. O'Neill.
Oh, right. Yes.
Colonel.
Right. Excellent.
And Colonel Acorn is spelled that way with K-E-R.
I love that, man. Those word jokes.
And Grunt Calhoun is based on a mascot over here from the 70s called McGruff the Crime Dog. It was like a crime prevention mascot that was big in the 70s. And I thought what better character to have the mascots have like a Commissioner Gordon type, to be
right.
my version of McGruff the Crime Dog, So
very cool. Yeah.
And then Gog is the giant character, and it's a play on the Jolly Green Giant. Which, do you have that over there, like the Jolly Green Giant vegetables?
No.
Okay, that's a mascot we have here. It's a weird one. It's like a big, basically a giant, all green, and he sells vegetables. And
right.
So
it's basically something created to get children to eat vegetables.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. Yeah.
So this is my perverted version of it, or twisted version of it, I guess.
Right.
And I always try to make it so that my versions, like, even if you're not familiar with the mascots they're based on, it's my versions like kind of stand on their own. I try to make them with their own unique personalities and things like that.
Right.
Actually, this was the GOG thing was actually a suggestion by Pete Zametti. Actually, the character was originally called the Upbeat Orange Behemoth, which is a play on Jolly Green Giant.
Right.
But when I ran it by Pete, he was like, that name is kind of a mouthful. What if you went with something like GOG, and it was like Gloomy Orange Goliath instead, and then you could get like that cool monster name GOG, and I was like, yeah, that's perfect. I like that. So
yes.
So this is a point right here where Pete kind of gave a suggestion, and I liked it, and I went with it. So.
Well, I think Greg preferred the original.
Do you like the original, Greg? I did too, but I felt like at the same time, I was going to run with it, but when Pete had said it was a mouthful and I tried saying it out loud, I was like, yeah, it kind of is, so I kind of agreed with him on it.
Yes.
So,
it's great to work with other creative minds.
Right. Well, I love that. Like when you work with other writers and like everyone tosses ideas around, I love that stuff.
I see you are a pretty good letterer, man.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Yeah, if anybody out there is looking for a letterer, I'm usually available. Right now I'm a little busy with the campaign, but
yes,
I would find some time, in between to work on some stuff. But yeah, I really try to letter at a professional level,
Well, it looks good.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
You also show some art with dialogue. People often prefer that.
I think so. Well, I think like that. That's my personal preference too. When I back stuff on campaigns, I love to see it kind of just helps you feel more confident that the product is going to come out. You know what I mean? Like that,
right.
Like you see some finished stuff, like the artist and creator are committed to the book. I think that does help.
Yes.
So. And plus, I don't think people have to worry about me with 9 issues in. I'm definitely going to come out with these, so.
Right. So I take it every issue is like floppy format, like 22 pages or something?
Yes. You usually 24 to 26 pages. It's full color. But the thing about alternate is they print on newsprint, which is like what comics used to be printed on back in the day. And I like it. It's just that smell. I love smelling. It smells like childhood. Just like you just remember that stuff.
Yes.
And that's why we can deliver the price at a reasonable level. Which so the basic if you just want the 3 books, it's like a $15 buy-in, and you also get 3 mini prints too. So and then I'll sign all 6 things. So for $15, you can't go wrong. And then you get anything that gets unlocked too, stretch goal wise.
Right. Welcome to the chat, Spore Hacker.
Hey, buddy. What's up? Thanks for joining us.
Man.
I agree. Newsprint feels good. Definitely. Leaves the ink, the ink on the fingers. I love that,
Yeah. You also, but you have to be a bit more careful with the colors when you compare it to more to other pages like little glossy pages or a bit thicker material.
Yeah, there's definitely like you got to be careful with some of the lettering you do. Like
Right.
you don't want to do like the like like a red lettering versus like with a
Mm.
black. Sometimes it looks a little weird and things
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. So you kind of just stick to the regular white and black balloons and things like that. So.
Right.
But I
Yes.
love it. I think newsprint is the way to go.
Okay, cool. So you have. So when you write this, right, do you provide the artist with a description of the page so he can decide for himself the complete layout, or do you actually break it down to panels?
I've done both. With Ian. Ian, I had that discussion with him early on before we started the book. He prefers to work from my breakdowns.
Mm,
So
right.
so what I tend to do, when I write a script, I kind of do it in a backwards way, like that I don't recommend anyone to write this way. Is I will write a comic script the way I would write like a screenplay, where I just don't worry about. I go in and I don't worry about panel descriptions. I
Mm,
just tell the story,
right.
right? So, like I'll do basic, basic descriptions of things happening, and then I just want to get the dialogue down. So when my first draft is me just getting the dialogue down for the entire issue, then I go back and then I figure out the page breakdowns and also each how many panels I'm going to need per page,
Hmm.
that kind of thing. And then I end up writing it like 3 or 4 times. So it's not like some people can just think in that terms, like, okay, I need 5 panels, and they just start writing. I
Right.
can't do it.
Yes.
I kind of do it in pieces, so
Yes.
it makes it
Yes.
easier for me. And also the other great thing great advice I always give everybody too, if you're a writer, learn how to letter, because you can kind of, the thing that's awesome about it is you could go in and George Lucas your book after if
Yes.
some of the work, the artwork isn't quite right. Or I've had to do that a few times where they put a, you know, they did something wrong with the panel, and I was just like, well, I could probably save this with dialogue, and I go in and I kind of fix it, and
Right.
you end up not having to pay the artist again to go redo the page or whatever, so.
This is true. Yeah, this is true, man. Okay. Then we have another page here.
Yep, get the full splash page and the title page,
Right. Nice. Great.
Yeah, it was
Great.
really
And
fun. And then the cool thing about these campaigns is that I often put like variant covers on there, so that they're really super rare because they're only going to be offered in the campaign.
mm,
Like Alterna won't be selling these on their website or anything, so only
oh,
place to
okay.
get them is here. And these 3 artists that did the variants are amazing. This one
Right.
is by a gentleman named Steve Mardo, who is a guy that I know from the convention scene around here, and he's done some stuff for Scout Comics. Like I think he's done a book over there. He's done some artwork for there. He does a lot of magazine kind of stuff, and
Right.
yeah, he's a really cool illustrator. So he gave me this. I hired him to do a cover, and he came up with this, and it's just amazing. So
Yeah.
love it.
So, so will you be printing the amount of variant covers as there are backers for it?
Pretty much. I'll probably go a little over because sometimes like the printing, sometimes the books get damaged as they get shipped, or just want to have a couple extras. So
Mhm.
excuse me, whatever extra I have, I usually just sell at my table at conventions until they're gone. That
Right.
kind of thing.
Yes.
This right here is another artist in my area, Ryan Santos, amazing artist. My first painted cover, actually, which is
Yes.
great.
This is not. This is digitally painted or on
Traditional, I
canvas.
believe. Yeah, traditional on
Really?
canvas. Yeah,
Wow.
amazing artwork. The guy, one of those artists that I have no idea why he's not working in the industry like bigger.
Right.
He's really good.
Well, some people are great with pinups and like covers, but
Yeah.
not that great with interiors. That's
Yes, right.
that's a
Yeah,
different skill set.
it really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this one is so I went to 1 year of the Joe Kubert School up here in
Mm,
New Jersey, and this artist was somebody that sat next to me in class, and he works. He doesn't work in comics. He works in like storyboarding and like uh, advertising, things like that. And I just hit him up out of the blue. I said, "Hey, would you like to do a cover for me?" And he was all in. So it's cool. I kind of
yeah.
got like an exclusive from him.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's
Fantastic,
great
man.
stuff.
You get a bumper sticker.
Yes, that's in one of the featured. The featured perk at the top has a lot. Is probably the best bang for your buck.
Right.
You get a lot of. You get all 3 issues, and you get all 3 variant covers on top of that, and then you get the bumper sticker, the pin, a bunch of other things.
Wow, a lot. Okay, let's take a look at your perks.
Okay.
Okay. Whoa, a lot of perks.
Yeah.
The featured perk.
Yeah, that's the best one I would recommend, because you get the 3 issues, the 3 variants, the 3 mini prints, a pin, a bumper sticker, and an embroidered patch, all for $50. And you get anything else that gets unlocked on the
Yes.
campaign, which is awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Excellent.
that's why I put it featured, because I think that's the best deal of the whole
Yeah, of course.
campaign,
Of course.
you know.
So for $50 you get basically everything, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And then if you just want the 3 issues, there you go. That's the perk to grab. You get 3 mini prints on top of that, and then also anything that gets unlocked.
All right. And these mini prints are 9x6, right? Okay.
Yeah.
You sign the books also.
I'll
Excellent.
sign everything. Yeah, I signed all the
Everything,
prints.
yes.
I signed the books.
Excellent.
And I'll
Excellent.
try to put them in bags and boards for everybody.
Oh, Spore Hacker says that he thinks he already got the digital.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Well, you backed it before, Spore Hacker, or did you back it right now? Or oftentimes he backs during the show. So,
Oh, cool. Very cool. So
you
yeah,
have the digital series.
yeah, the digital. That's the first time I've done digital. So
Yes, why not, right?
Yeah, people are taking advantage of it. I should have done it on my last campaign, but you have you get all 9 issues digitally for $20, which I think
Wow.
is a steal.
That's a steal, indeed. 9 books for 20.
Yeah.
Come on,
That's
guys.
a lot.
if you are outside of the US, for instance, and you would
Yeah,
like to give the book a try, for $20 you have the entire series of 9 books.
Yeah, so I think especially if you're overseas, you don't have to pay the shipping costs. Like, I think I did standard. I can't remember what the shipping costs were. Like, I guess it depends on the perks. Like, if it's a small box, I think if, like, say Europe is probably like $25 shipping, which is a lot, But
if you're lucky, yeah.
Yeah, if you're lucky, that's the problem, And
Yeah. So Greg says that digital is necessary because some people only read digital.
Yeah, no, I'm glad I did it this time. Because I was used to just discount digital as like no one wants that, but it's a thing now. Yeah.
Yes, it's especially a thing now. Yeah. Okay. So when is this book done? When are these books finished?
Oh, okay, so I put the delivery date for next summer, but I would love to deliver this a lot sooner. So to give you guys a heads up, I'm already done issue 7, and the artist is about 8 pages into issue 8 already. So
Right.
I'm hoping if we can get issue 9 in the can by the end of by Christmas time.
Wow.
I'm hoping to print and have them into everybody's hands by the spring, So I did put summer because I don't like to undercut myself either, but I'd rather, what is it? Under promise and over deliver kind of thing,
Yes,
So
exactly.
those are my 2 earlier graphic novels, Hero Envy and Swamp Tales.
Oh, okay.
So Hero Envy is sort of a geek comedy. It's I often pitch it, and either 50% of the people get offended or 50% of the people really laugh. But I say it's Hero Envy's like Big Bang Theory, but if it was actually funny. So like that's what Hero Envy is.
Okay, now that's funny, right?
Yeah, exactly. But some people get offended when I say that. So, but and Swamp Tales is a comic strip that I used to write and draw that I just collected into one book. So that book is all me basically, except for the covers. I hired a cover artist for those.
Excellent. And when you select this, you can
You get both
add
for
on
20 bucks. Yeah, and you
other
can do
books.
add-ons. Yep, you can add on anything on the checkout page as well.
Right. Okay, cool. Then you have the lunchbox.
The lunchbox I added for the second 30. We have about 25 of those to offer. So
Wow, cool.
so they are limited, but we do have good. I think enough.
As it does fit the theme. It's
Yeah, I think so. I
cool.
think so.
Yeah, nice.
We try to do a lot of merch, that's sort of like cereal themed and things like that.
Right. Then the variants, if you only want.
And
the
if you just
variants.
want the variant covers and the mini prints, this is the one to go for.
Right. So you can also through the add-ons, you can also buy one variant, for instance.
Yeah. So you say you
Right.
just wanted the painted cover, you can get that on the add-ons.
Right. Yes. Okay. Sketch
And
cards,
then,
commissions. Ooh,
Yeah.
cool.
So you can either hire me or my wife to do a sketch card of whatever character you want. And there's some examples of our work there. Like the top 2 is my wife, and the bottom 2 are me. So
Right.
So
So you got a little competition going on there.
Yeah. Good, a healthy one,
Exactly.
And then you can get a T-shirt of just the bull call with the Mighty
right.
Mascots logo on there.
Cool. This logo is very nice. It's very
Oh, thanks.
very simple, but it works. It's
Very simple, but like it has like a funness about it, I think.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then
ketchup bundle.
That's a ketchup
Okay.
bundle. That's
Yes.
so you can get every issue 1 through 9 physically, but it also includes the alternate 100-page giant, which is a collection of the first 3 issues, but with a new cover. So I throw that in as well.
Wow.
So you have basically everything. You'll have every release. So
Great.
and then you could get a sketch cover of Mighty Mascots #1 that me or my wife can draw for you. Full pencils, colors, and inks on both the sketch cover and the sketch card as well.
Wow. Excellent. The whole breakfast.
No breakfast. You get everything. You get stuff from the last campaign, like the cereal box, and then you get everything that's there basically.
Yes. Okay. And then we have get drawn into the mascots.
Yeah. Yep. I did that. I offered 5 spots in the last campaign, and that was really everyone grabbed them. So I
Yeah,
figured
it's
I'd
really
do it
popular
again.
now also, man.
Yeah.
Look at
It's
this.
not bad. And then so anybody that grabs that perk, it'll probably be issue 9, where it'll probably be a crowd shot where
Right.
the giant is kind of smashing everything and people are running away. So,
Right.
So if you get drawn in, you'll probably be one of those people running for your life, on the
Cool.
page.
And this
And
is the last
puppet.
one.
Yeah, this is the
It's the
puppet
puppet,
that we
yes.
added. So we're seeing if there's some interest in there. That's kind of like out of a left field perk, but we figured we'd
Hand
try
puppets?
it. Yep.
This is
Yeah.
a hand puppet, right? Okay. Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
looking good, guys. Everyone, the link to this campaign is in the description of the video, and it's also pinned in the chat. So check it out. Let's give it a little refresh, Keith. You never know, man.
Yeah. No.
So
that'd be great.
you have 139 backers right now. Let's refresh. And it's 139 backers.
Well,
Excellent.
people, if it's going to go in demand, we're on the last 11 days.
Yeah.
I will probably keep the campaign open as long as we're creating the book still. Once issue 9's in the can and we're ready to go to printer is probably when I'm going to close the campaign. So you
Right.
got some time. I would say the campaign will probably stay open till at least the end of the year. You know, and then I'll probably start making efforts to close it out, and then just so I can get the final numbers for printing and, you know, everything like that. So,
right. Excellent. Oh, Mike jumped in. Whoops. Well, I got here eventually. You and your vacation, Dave. Yeah, I'm sorry, Mike. Mike is not used to these strange
times. Yeah.
these strange extra shows. Welcome, Mike.
I hear that. Sometimes you're on YouTube, you got to roll with it, right?
Exactly. Okay. So check this out, guys. You can find the links easily. Also, the links to Keith Gleason's Twitter handle. So you can find that also. And while you're at it, you can still back Perfect 10 Issue 3 and Crossworlds. Guys, this is an award-winning series. We are working hard to give you the best book possible. There are 2 new comics, by the way. Crossworlds is now printed. This is done. So the last one we have to finish now is Perfect 10 Issue 3. Check it out. And you can sign up for America's Bliss Father's Pride Part 1. And I hope we can start a campaign somewhere next month. So yeah, awesome. All of that, check all that out, please. Then, okay, Keith, I want to thank you, sir, for being my guest today.
Yeah, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And special thanks to the chat for everyone who watched and who had comments and questions and who checked out the campaign and who shared and who liked. And if you don't like it, please give it a dislike. And I'm very sorry. Okay, guys, I'll be back next Sunday with the normal Drink with Brink. And tomorrow we are back with, believe it or not, the Dutch Angle. After weeks, the Dutch Angle is back. So I'm very happy with that. Again, Keith, thank you very much.
Thanks, Dave.
And everyone, guys, have a fantastic day and see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Later. Thanks, everyone.